Do you think he meant it when he said he has no son? Oh, okay, they are actually addressing this. Makoto is Daisuke's grandson. If he has no sons, then the previous heir that Sasuke grew up guarding must have been Makoto's mother? Sorry, hang on. Huh. Okay, maybe not clumsy phrasing then. Or Daisuke isn't actually Makoto's grandfather. Because they... And it slipped in... hang on, I'll see if I can find it. I don't think I can. I think it's too far back. Yeah, it's too far back. Okay. Daisuke had a passing reference to when his nephews and nieces make requests of him, he can't turn them down. Surely it would be his son making the request to have Makoto be protected. Why would his niece or nephew do it? It seems possible that Daisuke, who was the brother of the actual the former patriarch, it seems possible, and I'm not saying this is the case, but possible that actually Daisuke is the uncle of the one that we think is Makoto, the uncle of Makoto's father, making Makoto his great nephew instead of his grandson, That's a possibility. If it isn't clumsy phrasing, and I'd say it is not, this is fairly definitive, them actually calling it out. It's not just... because they don't even for a moment go, yeah, that's just an expression. Interesting. Anyway, back to Mirai. Is it safe to assume everyone in your family has severe trust issues? I have no issues with trust myself. But as you've seen, the house has very particular preferences when it comes to information siloing. Fancy words, you could have just told me who you are. I told you my name and my position in the house. Okay, so she's Makoto's mother. Which is why Sasuke cared so much when she gave a message. Fair enough. So actually, all that stuff I was literally just saying about how he's not actually his Makoto's grandfather is probably not true. This is probably Makoto's mother. I told you my name and my position in the house. Is it relevant that I'm married and that I'm a mother? Should I be flattered? You told me you work for Aurea Holdings. You didn't mention you're at least the second most powerful member of the house. If I had to tell people that, it wouldn't really be true, now would it? You could have told me your relation to Sasuke. He guarded you every day of your life up until you were 19. 19? He's your goddamn brother. Is that a message you wanted me to pass along? If you see a way out, take it. You wanted him to try and make a deal with the Blue Bloods to get out from under the house. Oh. Sorry, what? Huh. Okay. If Sasuke merely gave them what they wanted, I'm sure there would be dozens of Blue Bloods ready to confess to the crimes he is accused of. Okay, I completely misread that then. Damn. Huh. Sorry, wow, I got completely the wrong end of that particular cigarette, didn't I? So you knew. And if you thought you could pass that message, that means Sasuke, he's not an unintelligent man. Merely stubborn about all the most frustrating things. Sorry, indirectly in a few lines of bloody dialogue, they've been like, actually, yes, this person wasn't telling him to commit suicide. They were telling him to return to their rivals who were actually related to him. And I was telling him to do that. And also he knows who he is. And it's... considering we just had like a half-hour-long conversation coming to the conclusion of the thing we already knew. And then in a few lines of dialogue, they dropped that bombshell. Oh my god. Alright. Sasuke. What do the Blue Bloods want from Sasuke precisely? A blood donation? One sample will not suffice. They need to be able to validate their accounts whenever called for. Daily blood donations, then. I told you the old guard want to become nobility. How can they cement alliances among the aristocracy of old? They want Sasuke to marry? But the old guard are old. Sasuke's already got as much blue in his veins as they could ask for. They don't need him to marry into them, they need him to marry into power. Not the worst thing to have asked of you. Have you ever been in an arranged marriage? Don't call it a gift. Interesting. So presumably the son that he has been, because sorry, it is too far back. They Daisuke mentioned that he and his son had been, I can't remember where, overseas, wherever they were doing something, and then he cancelled all of his meetings to come back. So presumably that's her husband. Mirai, you were the heir apparent up until Makoto was born. All that time Sasuke was your bodyguard and driver and poison taster, though that would most often entail me giving him concoctions to try. But his assignment actually ended when I married. Subtracting Makoto's age, that had to have been over a decade ago. So he joined the military the moment he didn't have to shadow you anymore. And after he got back, he asked to become the Hound. Guy must really hate guard duty. He must. Interesting. Daisuke. Back up a moment. Your father didn't want me uncovering Sasuke's parentage. Most likely because he didn't want Sasuke to know the strength of his own bargaining position. But you told me to pass Sasuke a message that he'd only understand if he already knew who his parents were. So how long has he known? How long have you known he's known? And when did Sasuke cease knowing who knows what? That's an interesting question, Sarah, actually. Around the time Sasuke left for the military. Hell of a thing to find out at your entrance physical. No, it was before he left for the military, actually. Did that influence his decision? Sasuke finds out he could be the richest man in the city and then he wants to risk dying in battle? Quite the guilty class conscience. I don't know exactly what did or didn't influence his decision to join the military back then. You'd have to ask him. I apologise for any gaps in knowledge you've had to work around, but hopefully you now understand how delicate of a situation you found yourself in. Yeah, I can smell the explosives and hear the fuses sizzling. I just don't get why no one's gone over to stomp them out. If Sasuke's known this whole time why the Blue Bloods wanted to capture him, why didn't he tell us? Because he's a stubborn man working for a highly secretive family. That I get. What I don't get is why he didn't defect the moment he learned the truth. Who knows? My guess is because he genuinely loved his sibling. Like, we know he's genuinely incredibly fond of Makoto. It's likely that if Mirai was comfortable enough with him to share this with him, that he, presumably, or that she found out from him or something like that, they must have been close. He probably didn't like being on guard duty, but he probably was very, very fond of Mirai. You'll have to work out the rest with him. I've given you all the aid my position allows. I suppose it was kind of you to share information with us at all. Being in charge of the legitimate side of your family, you don't have any connection with this incident yourself. Oh. Interesting. I don't know how I unlocked this. No connection with this incident? Hang on a sec. Mirai Ikaria, question mark? Representative. Making use of people hiding my distaste. Likes arachnids. What a terrible person. Anyway. No connection with this incident. That's not quite accurate. Pardon? You do have a connection with this case, even if you yourself don't realise it. I found a note by the body of the Blue Blood who took Sasuke captive. It read M. Ikaria. This is one of the men who attacked my son? I'd imagine a note with his name is the least of what you found. They've never been after your son, not once. It's always been about capturing Sasuke, and Makoto's just been in the crossfire. Which Sasuke knows, which explains his reluctance to accept the responsibility of guarding Makoto. So I seriously doubt this dead man was interested in Makoto Ikaria. Mirai Ikaria, however, has no relation to the world that dead man lived in. That was decided the day she was born. But you do have relation to Renegan. Makoto mentioned your family was given one seat on the board as a show of respect. I take it that's a deception. No, you may have let Renegan go public, but you've never given up control of it. The rest of the board must be your family's puppets. But that doesn't matter. What matters is what Renegan makes and the prices it charges. Renegan is best known for the patenting of metformin. A patent which expired years ago, plenty of other companies making it now. And yet the price hasn't gone down. The invisible hand sets price where it will. Sure, but this is your invisible hand. A normal corporation couldn't strong-arm its competitors into keeping prices high. That'd be operating as a cartel. But the reincarnation of the Ikaria drug cartel would know exactly how to go about that without getting caught. Pfft. If that were true, it'd be much easier than you make it out to be. The right email signature, the right package delivered to the right address, the right look. These executive types scare easy when the perceived threat is anything bordering on the physical. Of course, it helps that the end result is we all profit immensely. But yes, metformin is very lucrative. What of it? That dead man, Creek, had a brother with expensive tuition and TAD. Type 2 abnormal diabetes? He'll need metformin for the rest of his life. Then he really ought to choose the proper insurance plan, don't you think? I don't get the impression that family member coverage is a benefit the Blue Bloods offer. I am currently struggling to see where this is going. I suppose even the Mob Act has its limits. Yes, one could find the name of M. Ikaria in relation to the Renegan board if they looked hard enough. So you think this Creek individual was going to threaten me? Come up to me on the street with a knife, a gun? He wouldn't get within 100 meters. I don't doubt that. Now the rest of this is speculation, but he might have just wanted to contact you. Ha ha, that would have been even less likely to succeed. So you truly don't care that his brother needs this medicine? Sasuke is like a brother to you, and you've gone out of your way to try and help him, even when you stand to gain nothing from it. Yes, but I wouldn't expect my enemies to be impressed by the effort. How would you feel if they laughed at your effort? My apologies, new android still adapting to conversation. You know what we sold back before Renegan? Before the facade of nobility back when we were the Ikaria cartel? Opioids? Yes, it was still illegal back then. But not for everyone. Take the exact same compounds, put them in an extended release pill and sell it at the pharmacy, and that's just pain management. It's all the same poison, equally addictive whether you get it from a dealer or a doctor. Have you ever seen someone go through opioid withdrawal? Like taking a wine opener to your stomach for 7 days straight, they testified. Pain like that eats people alive, slowly, and replaces them with something unrecognizable. A loving parent would steal from their own child if they thought he could buy them release from that kind of pain. Painkillers, what a joke. Does Renegan produce painkillers? No, we do not. People die if they don't get the medicine they need, and I'm sure their family mourns them. But addicts die a little more every day of their life until the day they finally fade out forever. And their family feels disgusted with themselves for breathing a sigh of relief. Plenty of evil in this world, little girl, plenty to choose from. For real people like us, if you don't choose, the choice is made for you. Now wipe that look of your face and access the following address. Renegan.main.financing.prescriptionfinancingoptions.outofpocket.apply. You have that memorized? But this portal is not listed or linked to anywhere on the site, I know, but it still works fine. By law, we have to have it, but we can't be blamed if the website is poorly designed. If you know any despondent crybaby college students looking for coupons to help pay for medication, they might want to start there. Thank you. Oh! Oh! Unforeseen side effects, just got an achievement. Nope, stop that. Sorry, I pressed Shift Tab to check what the achievement was and it started on autoplay. Thank you. Don't thank me. Don't. I can't stand it. Reveal a hidden connection between warring parties. I'm not entirely sure what I've discovered there. That Creek contacted her to get help for his brother. But why would she help Creek? I really feel like I've missed something. Sorry, this whole conversation, compared to the Daisuke one, which was incredibly blunt, this one feels very subtextual. Just save Sasuke's life. Don't know how you pulled that off. Atane? They do consistently refer to themselves as a house. Perhaps they simply value family more than you think. That was really weird. That threw me off in all sorts of ways. I'll go through it again when I edit this, but I feel like I missed a great deal in that conversation compared to the Daisuke one, which again felt incredibly blunt. Right, let me just talk for a moment. This is a separate recording. I have now edited through the bit I just went through, and I still don't really get it. And I feel like I'm missing some obvious stuff, but I also feel it was bizarrely, subtextual conversation. But my understanding as it currently is that Mirai did help Creek, because, to be honest, I wouldn't think that if it wasn't for the achievement that said, oh, you found a connection between these two warring parties, implying there is, they connected in some way. But why? I don't know why she would do it. Because, one option is she would do it so that she can help Sasuke get back to his real family, sort of essentially out him to a blue blood. But the thing is, she'd have outed him to a young blood, presumably. Or maybe this is drawing in, a question of, was he actually a young blood or was he an old guard? But it's implied that he was a young blood because, what's her name? Han was a fan of him, or I think? Oh, God. I don't know. We still have numerous questions hanging over everything. I mean, this episode has done a great job of, misdirecting, but we still have massive questions hanging over everything. When's the huntsman gonna come into things? Why was Creek's pod responsible for both the huntsman's mask and Sasuke? Did the old guard trust Creek, or was he just there to die? How does Mirai helping Creek come into things? How does that possibly mesh with the other stuff going on? Because it is still sort of bugging me, why did Chopin immediately pick up the tablet on the desk? And one that I am convinced we're going to get in the near future, especially as it looks like we're back at the police station, why is Farah so personally upset? So of course, don't give me the answers for any of these if you know the answers, because, spoilers are not allowed, but I just wanted to air out a few of these questions. Because, yeah, I don't know where we're going with this now. We've taken an incredibly long, circuitous path to get to somewhere that I'd sort of expected us to arrive. But I don't know why that matters. I also don't know, from a lawyer perspective, how any of it helps us win the case. Because to win the case, we need to prove the existence of the huntsman, and we have just not touched that at all. Anyway, shall we crack on? Sasuke! 7:14 PM. No. So, where should we begin? What do you mean? I'm afraid I don't have anything new to tell you. Stubborn about all the most frustrating things, was it? I'm your lawyer, Sasuke. We're sworn to always do what's best for our clients, their rights and their privacy. To an extent that many consider extreme, we are unable to disclose incriminating or otherwise problematic information that our clients give to us, no matter the circumstances. This whole system is designed to benefit the defendant. So it really upsets me when I find out that my clients are lying to me about vital information that could help me save their lives. If you're troubled by the nature of my work as the Hound, you're adopted. Yes, from the Hayakawa. That's bullshit. You know it, I know it, and people whose opinions you respect know it. Fine. All members of the military have extensive DNA samples on records. If I subpoena... Oh, alright, stop. Just stop. Does the military keep all its members' DNA on record? I don't know, probably, right? Yes, I know what you are referring to. Even before I knew, I did wonder. If you've known about your real family for more than a decade, why haven't you ever... Because it doesn't matter. Try telling that to the Blue Bloods. They've been risking a gang war for over a year trying to get to you. That's their choice. It has nothing to do with me. How can you... I'm appalled, Sasuke. How could a brave soldier serving the House of Ikaria allow violence to continue when he knows he could stop it? Seriously? I mean, it wouldn't stop it even if he gave himself up, because it would just allow them to fund their war better. Frankly, the only way that Sasuke could actually stop the war is if he died. So, not a great angle. A worthy attempt, Counselor. Sorry. Guess I'm not used to having to persuade people to act in their own best interest. Or that of their family. Family? The Ikaria raised me, fed me, taught me how to write, read, walk. They gave me a home, a purpose. Yeah, after they took away your previous home and purpose. Just wanted to remind you of that. They're using you. They need me. They've got a funny way of showing it. I owe everything to them and nothing to the dead. Like... I can understand why he thinks that, but it's also an insane way to think. He owes everything to them because they took him away from everything he already had. He owes nothing to the dead people because they were killed by the people who took him away. Like, they didn't get a chance to do anything for him apart from, bring him into this world. Love him unconditionally before he even existed, that kind of thing. Nah, forget that. They're only dead because the man you call a father murdered them. He did that a long time ago to people I've never met. You'll have to forgive me if I'm short on empathy for complete stranger. What an asshole! Oh, God, yeah, this is rubbing me the wrong way, this conversation. Aunts, uncles, cousins, parents, siblings. You can't call them complete strangers, Sasuke. Can't I? The Ikaria are my family. Nothing will change that. Well, I mean, that's what I predicted. That's why he hadn't gone back to them, but... God, it feels stupid to hear it from his own mouth. Nothing ever could. Like, I can understand having loyalty to them, but at the same time, whatever, I've gone through it. Let's test that. Pardon? The state thinks you murdered a cop. They'll make sure no one ever thinks of following your example. Let me repeat that. The full brunt of the police state is about to fall directly on the back of your neck. hammer, nail. I'm not afraid of prison. You ever been in one? What? No, They shave you. What? When you're convicted, they shave you for hygiene. It's not for hygiene. You talking about that virtual work release thing? Do they fit you for skull caps? Not right away. They don't do that to people. Put a man in chains, strip him naked, sew his mouth shut, he'll still recognize himself in the mirror. He's still a person. But shave his head, give him a uniform, and make him sit in the dark with 500 others who've been treated the same. He starts to forget. Forget that he's a person. After you're so bored you're seeing constellations in concrete, and after you've scratched your skin raw just to feel something new, that's when they ask if you'd like a job. After people stop being people. How could you even know anything like that? Oh yeah, hang on, I've got a couple of terms to read. Oh wow, virtual work release program. Due to ongoing controversy, search results are temporarily blocked. Bloody hell. And TAD, type 2 abnormal diabetes, is a subtype of the autoimmune disorder diabetes. Type 1 is due to genetic factors, type 2 is acquired by poor diet and exercise, type 2A is most believed to result from childhood exposure to artificial sweeteners. Wow. Exactly which artificial sweeteners contribute is not known. I will admit, stuff like Renegan artificially manipulating the price of diabetes medication is also something of a trigger for me. I have a family history of diabetes. I actually did a live stream, a 24-hour live stream raising money for Diabetes UK. Yeah, this is something I care about, and how could you even know any of that? I'm a defense attorney, Sasuke. Who else gets to see the inside of a prison and walk away afterwards? I suspect it's not just that. I suspect there is a part of her that has researched what would happen if she got caught. Just out of curiosity, just to give herself that extra motivation to not be caught. I don't know if that fits her or not. Makoto sent me himself, so you never actually took your one phone call, did you? Take my phone and call Hannah Kim. The Blue Bloods will volunteer a fall guy to confess to these crimes and you'll walk free. After which you'll become one of the richest men in the city overnight. That's not... If you're at all curious, I've done some calculations to estimate the extent of your familial holdings. The number is quite remarkable. Though I suppose I haven't taken taxes into account. No one's asking you to abandon the Ikaria. You could become their greatest ally. Together, your families would... I know exactly what would happen if I made that deal. I won't do it. Why the hell not? Why not, Sasuke? You're forgetting a few small details involved in this process. Namely, disowning the people who raised me my entire life, and claiming myself before the world as the son of people I've been fighting since I was a teenager. How shameless do you think I am? Daisuke, that man raised me like his own son, and in return, I can't throw away the name he gave me just for goddamn money. Treat your men as you would your own beloved sons, and they will follow you into the deepest valley. Is that it? You would rather rot in prison as an Ikaria than live in luxury as a blue blood? Oh, the colour change with him in blue. Bit on the nose, maybe. Gladly. That's an interesting look for Sarah. This is my answer, Morgan. If you try and use my parentage in the trial tomorrow, I'll dismiss you as my counsel, and change my plea to guilty. If that's your answer, then that's your answer. You're the client, what you say goes. Right. So if you somehow last another night without the cops smothering you in your sleep, we'll need some kind of strategy when we go into the court tomorrow. Of course we will. And what are your thoughts on the matter? I might have found a window of opportunity. A chance that someone other you had the means, motive, and opportunity to commit these crimes. Have you remembered anything else about your captivity? Maybe if we go over it again and I extrapolate somewhat, or a lot. We'll need to be prepared. You're going to be called to the stand tomorrow. All I need to do is keep silent, right? You better not. I'll be the one asking the questions. You're going to call him to testify? What do you expect me to say up there? I want you to tell the truth, of course. I want you to tell the court exactly how you were set free.